Hi, everyone. This is Melanie from North Shore College Consulting, and today I'm going to talk to you about managing disabilities and diverse learners. If you have any questions at all, you can ask in the Q&A box if you are watching live, or you can always ask later in the Admission Key VIP Facebook group. Let's get started. Okay, so what exactly is a diverse learner? A diverse learner is defined as someone who learns differently from the majority or has a mental health condition that impacts learning. The following diagnoses are often determined by a medical doctor or neuropsychologist in a comprehensive psychoneurological evaluation. So this is specific learning disability, having related to math, reading, or writing, for example, auditory processing disorder, autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, and anxiety, depression, or any other mental health disorder. Something to keep in mind is that students living with trauma, violence, or chronic illness may not have an exact diagnosis, but they are a diverse learner. The Learning Disabilities Association of America describes learning disabilities as follows. You could pause this recording, or you could take a longer look at this definition, but what I really want you to notice is that in this definition is that learning disabilities can affect an individual's life beyond academics and can impact relationships with family, friends, and in the workplace. So as a diverse learner or someone who is managing a disability, what do you really need to know? So high school students with physical disabilities, learning disabilities like dyslexia, ADD, or ADHD, or mental illnesses like anxiety or depression often struggle in high school as they learn to develop habits, routines, and accommodations that allow them to succeed. Once students find their personal formula for success, it often is left behind when transitioning to college. There are 3 areas that you can focus on to maintain success in college. One is understanding your disability or disabilities. 2 is developing self-advocacy skills. 3 is consideration of the legal landscape as related to disabilities in higher education. There is a big shift in responsibilities when transitioning from high school to college for students with disabilities, such as whose job is it? It can be tricky to figure out whose job it is to ensure your success in college. Until now, your parent in high school have likely been responsible for seeing that your accommodations are met. Responsibilities change once you reach college. So let's compare the differences in roles and responsibilities in high school versus college. In high school, the parent is the primary advocate. In high school, also, school must identify and test for disabilities and pay for testing and accommodations. The school must also plan for any special educational services. The school counselor assists in course selection. The high school is required to monitor progress. In college, the student is the primary advocate. The student is required to pay for any testing and accommodations. The school is not required to identify or test. The student must also request special educational services. The student is solely responsible for selecting courses. And in college, the student is responsible for monitoring their progress. While transitioning to college, it is important to also understand your needs. You will likely be in a situation in college where you will need to discuss your disability or learning difference with a college professor, disability officer, or admissions representative. Prepare to explain in detail your physical or mental diagnosis and how it affects your learning. Review with your parent, doctor, or therapist the appropriate terms to define your condition and needs. Clearly articulate your strengths and your weaknesses. Develop a list of habits, routines, and accommodations that have enabled your success throughout high school. It is worthwhile to practice your communication skills to become comfortable sharing your disability. Self-advocacy is also key. Self-understanding is the basis of a strong self-advocate. As you go off to college, it is important that you not only have a strong understanding of your strengths and disabilities, but also the ability to request the services you need to succeed in your classes. You will likely need to disclose your disability to the appropriate campus authority, faculty, and staff in an effort to brainstorm creative ways to meet your needs. Consider the list of questions below. Should I disclose my disability on my application? Where do I go to obtain the services that I am accustomed to receiving in high school once I'm in college? What are my rights when it comes to meeting my educational goals? And what should I look for in colleges to meet my specific educational needs? Most students find that it is helpful to role play scenarios with a parent or counselor prior to college to help prepare for the most difficult situations in advance. As you prepare for college, you should add advocating yourself to your list of preparations. You should also consider practicing role play scenarios to increase your confidence in speaking up for yourself. You have a self-advocacy role play scenario worksheet, like the one pictured, in your document section that you can use for this purpose. When you self-advocate, you should self-advocate your strengths. A strength for a diagnosis of dyslexia may include visual spatial thinking, determining patterns, and seeing the big picture. Someone with a disorder of written expression or dysgraphia may have a strong vocabulary and be strong speakers. Someone diagnosed with dyscalculia, which is a math processing disorder, may have strengths in creativity, problem solving, and strategic thinking. Someone diagnosed with ADHD can be fast thinkers, resourceful, honest, empathetic, and hyper-focused. With mental health disorders, they can have strengths of being highly creative, sensitive, and empathetic, resilient, and persevering. Someone with autism spectrum has an exceptionally good memory and is precise, detail-oriented, honest, and dependable regarding routines and schedules. You can explore your strengths using a resource called the Spin One-Pager. The Spin One-Pager can be used to determine your strengths, preferences, interests, and needs. So you can find this resource at the link provided on the page. But also you can take a look at this, this recording and take a pause and write down these questions as well. So when you're trying to figure out your strengths, you should ask yourself, what do I do well? So what do you do well in school? What do you do well at home, in your community? And maybe what do other people say are your strengths? You can also look at your preferences. So what works for me? What's working for me that I'm currently doing? What helps me be successful? Where do I see myself in the future? Do I see myself having a certain career, living a certain place? What do I do for fun? Your interests, or what do you like to do when you're not in school? What activities do you like to participate in? What are your hobbies? What do you do for fun? Your needs are, What are the accommodations that help me? How can others help me? What are some things that are different for me? You can look at the web, again, you can look at the website on the bottom of this page for more information, but these are all questions that you can ask yourself to make sure that you are not only self-advocating, but you are highlighting your strengths that you're going to want to use while you're in college. So you're going to want to also develop your executive functioning skills, which are going to be crucial to your college career. So executive functioning skills can include time management, organization, planning and prioritizing, self-regulation, task initiation, excuse me. And when considering time management, organization, planning, and prioritizing, and self-regulation and task initiation, consider what are you already good at? What systems have you used in the past or that you've already know about? What do you already do to self-regulate? How can you build upon the skills you already have? All of these skills build self-awareness. You've been in school for 8 years and you're doing a lot of things right. Let's identify the skills that you already have. So going back to that SPIN resource, what are your strengths, preferences, interests, and needs? Okay, now we're onto this page. So you can highlight your unique strengths and also in your college essays and in your application. So in your college essays, you should remember to be authentic, embrace your learning style and journey, showcase your strengths, and you should also be the one to choose your topic. You don't want to have anybody assign a topic to you. You want to show your true voice. Before writing, verbally process your narrative, talk it out, and then you want to record your narrative. Maybe use a graphic organizer, whatever will help you write the most successfully. While writing the essay, you can use speech to text, which is also something that students can use in college, but you should remember not to over edit and remove your authentic voice. So what are your rights when it comes to managing your disability? So first is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This is something that you should understand. During grade school and high school, your rights are protected by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Next is the Americans with Disabilities Act. So once you graduate from high school or over age 21, you are then covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act. ADA provides students with disabilities from discrimination based on disability in education. You should also be aware of the Family Educational Rights Privacy Act, or FERPA. The Family Educational Rights Privacy Act affects the way colleges can communicate with parents. FERPA prohibits colleges from discussing confidential information about a student with parents and third parties. Therefore, you are the only one who is authorized to access anything related to your grades and transcript, disability, and even tuition payments. Parents do not share the right to this confidential information unless you sign a release to allow the college to disclose your records with them. So you should definitely discuss FERPA with your parents and decide what is best for you and your family situation. So also as a college student, you have some responsibilities. So you need to provide documentation of your disability, and you have to self-identify and self-disclose your learning difference to student services and professors. So you should register with the college's Office of Disability Services to receive your accommodations to be the most successful. You should also advocate for your accommodations. Identify effectiveness of accommodations that you are currently receiving, and you could also make changes along the way. It's also important to remember that you do have some resources and supports. So a great resource that you can use is the K&W Guide to Colleges. This is a comprehensive guide of more than 350 school profiles with targeted information on services, admissions, and policies. They divide schools into structured programs, coordinated services, and basic services. A structured program school is going to have the most support. They mirror support that's received in high school. Coordinated services support is some structured support and basic services. And then basic services it may provide basic tutoring and writing support, but it's really good for high functioning students that have good self-advocacy and executive functioning skills. So some other college supports can include assistive technology options and classes or coaching in small groups. So mental health disorders or diagnosed learning disorders can use these resources. Also support groups such as anxiety and coping skills and executive functioning. They also have mentorships and big buddy supports. So this is helpful for students on the spectrum or with social anxiety and depression. So here are some things to keep in mind. Remember that earning a college degree is not a race. Enroll in the number of courses each term that you know that you can master. Also, be sure to build your support team in college. That includes the disability office, the health center, the study skills team, and local support organizations. You should also embrace the habits that have enabled your success in high school once you transition to college. Your support team in college can include the following, like I mentioned, the disability office, the health center, the study skills team, and local support organizations. You should find these supports on campus right away. Okay, so that was the workshop on managing disabilities and diverse learners. I know that we covered a lot of information. So again, if you have any questions, do not be shy to ask in the Admission Key VIP Facebook group, and we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching.